Lil Kenny basically described in detail what the hell happened with the freaking murder of Big Jook. I don't think that if you saw Big Jook's murder that some bullshit won't happen. The man was too powerful. Everybody who talks about Yo Gotti, they never talk about how integral freaking Big Jook was. He was the ear to the music, the ear to the street.
Yo, this was wild. Reports just came in that Young Dolph's alleged main shooter has been taken into custody, and sources claim he's now being charged in connection with the tragic death of Yo Gotti's brother Big Jook. Behind the Memphis rap spotlight, BEO Lil Kenny was living fast in the streets, dropping tracks full of coded messages that ended up leading investigators straight to him. The truth behind how it all fell apart is darker than anyone expected, and things are heating up fast. The hip-hop scene in Memphis is buzzing right now, and fans can't believe how deep this story goes. Social media been going crazy ever since people started sharing clips of what looks like Lil Kenny being taken in by authorities, with some saying it was the DEA.
Everybody praying. Oh shit, everybody come, they can't do none of this. Shit, we chill. They can't do nothing on me. Hell no.
But tonight, we're cutting through all the rumors to break down what really went down. Now, before you think this was just some routine arrest gone wrong, word on the block is that whispers about Big Jook's case been floating around for months, pointing fingers at Kenny. Here's where it gets wild. People claim he might have hinted at it through his own lyrics, practically giving away clues in his music. One video making rounds online shows what looks like Kenny getting pulled from the bushes, with voices in the background shouting things like, "Everybody praying, can't do nothing to us, we chillin'." It's a chaotic scene, and folks online are still debating what really happened that day. Getting chased by federal agents is never light work, but this case hits different because of who's involved. The rumor mill's been spinning non-stop, calling Kenny the possible shooter behind Big Jook's murder. Despite his small frame, just about 5'3", 120 pounds, people around him said he was fearless and always ready to prove himself. According to official booking records, Kenneth Mason, better known as BEO Lil Kenny, is now facing several serious charges, including evading arrest in a vehicle, reckless driving, and illegal window tint.
5 police sources have confirmed with Fox 13 that the person killed is Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook. Now, Big Jook is the brother of rapper Yo Gotti.
The situation is getting deeper by the day, and the streets of Memphis are watching every move closely. The charges didn't stop there. Authorities also found him in possession of a controlled substance, but things go way deeper than just a few traffic violations. This story takes a wild turn. Apparently, Kenny was so chill hiding in those bushes that he later joked online about it. On Facebook, he wrote, "I was comfortable in them bushes. They had to drag me out. We was gonna wait till the coast was clear." Like what? The man really thought he could outweight the law.
Deadly shooting in Hickory Hill with connections to Memphis rapper Yo Gotti.
But here's where it really gets messy. Kenny's been dropping hints about his situation in his own songs. People online been calling it straight up self-snitching. After the tragic shooting of Big Jook, who lost his life outside a restaurant with his family nearby, Kenny released a track that got the whole city talking. He rapped, "In front of his mama, they downed his brother. We come to get you like bounty hunters." Those lyrics hit heavy, and fans quickly noticed how close they sounded to real-life events. The wild part, he didn't even say they, he said we. That's like putting yourself at the scene through your own music. Folks in the community started piecing things together, saying his lyrics lined up almost too perfectly with what happened that night. It was giving full-on confession vibes. In the streets, they call that self-snitching, and it's one of the quickest ways to end up behind bars.
Right now, we do have video that we're analyzing, but we don't have a clear suspect identified at this time. But we know that a weapon was used, a firearm was used in this incident. We do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by the suspect.
Dropping a diss track right after something tragic happens, especially when it includes details only the people involved would know, is a bold move that can backfire fast.
And Kenny didn't seem worried one bit. He was online celebrating, sounding proud, saying things like we instead of they, basically confirming what people were already whispering. But then he tried to walk it back, Later posted on Facebook, "I'ma let it be known, I don't want no clout. I'm a good dude and I ain't got nothing to do with this." Too little, too late. The internet wasn't buying it, and fans started wondering if Kenny had just sealed his own fate through his own words. The damage was already done. There was no coming back from it.
Lil Kenny basically described in detail what the hell happened with the freaking murder of Big Jook. I don't think that if you saw Big Jook's murder that some bullshit won't happen. The man was too powerful. Everybody who talks about Yo Gotti, they never talk about how integral freaking Big Jook was. He was the ear to the music, the ear to the streets.
But to really understand this wild chain of events, we gotta rewind and look at how this whole Memphis feud first exploded. The tension between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph wasn't just about music or competition. This was real-life street history that went back more than a decade. It all kicked off around 2010 during Thanksgiving weekend outside the Level 2 nightclub. Reports say Yo Gotti and OG Boo Dirty, who had close ties with Dolph's crew, got into a heated fight, and before anyone knew it, shots were fired, leaving multiple people wounded. This wasn't internet drama or Twitter disses. This was bullets flying in real time. One name from that night stands out, Corey McClendon, who was arrested alongside Gotti back then. Years later, that same McClendon would be charged in connection to Young Dolph's attempted shooting in Hollywood in 2017. That right there shows how long this feud had been simmering. The same people still going at it nearly a decade later. But it didn't stop there. Back in 2012, Young Dolph was actually sitting right next to Gucci Mane when Gucci publicly called out Yo Gotti, saying Gotti was trying to ride his wave by dropping a mixtape on 10/17, the same day Gucci was set to release his own project. That moment made it clear the lines were drawn. Dolph was right there watching it all unfold, and from that day on, the tension only got worse. Over the years, the situation escalated fast. By 2017, Dolph had already survived multiple attempts on his life, one of the most shocking being the Charlotte shooting, where his SUV got hit more than 100 times. Investigators later linked that attack to people connected to Gotti's circle, including, once again, Corey McClendon. This was no longer rap beef. It had turned into an all-out street war. And when Young Dolph was killed in November 2021, insiders said it wasn't some random hit. The whispers in Memphis claimed that Big Jook, Yo Gotti's brother, had allegedly put a massive bounty on Dolph's head. Big Jook was known as the muscle of the CMG empire, the one who made everything in the streets, while Gotti focused on the business side. This whole thing went beyond music. It became about power, territory, and respect. Big Jook wasn't just family. He was the one who made the tough calls behind the scenes. But when Young Dolph kept dissing their camp and threatening to tarnish their name, it pushed the feud past the point of no return. And that decision would end up costing Big Jook his own life. For those who might not fully get how street politics really work, let's break it down. When someone puts money on another person's head, that's basically like signing their own death certificate. Because if that person has loyal people behind him, and trust me, Young Dolph had a solid team, they're not letting that slide. Revenge moves quick in the streets, especially in a city like Memphis, where word spreads faster than any official report. Before the police even pieced things together, whispers about Big Jook's alleged involvement in Dolph's tragic passing had already hit the streets. And when someone as respected as Dolph gets taken out, retaliation becomes almost guaranteed. Big Jook blew the risks, but his pride and loyalty to his brother pushed him to make a move that would eventually cost him everything.
During the trial for Dolph's alleged shooters, investigators revealed something shocking. Big Jook was allegedly the one making key phone calls and coordinating where people should be on the day of Dolph's murder. That made him the #1 target for anyone seeking payback. Then came January 13th, 2024, the day everything came full circle. Big Jook had just finished attending a repast gathering at Peen's Restaurant and Event Center near Winchester and Kirby. As he stepped outside, thinking it was just another normal evening, tragedy struck. Reports say gunmen pulled up and caught him completely off guard, right there in his own city, broad daylight, around 4:15 p.m. And here's the heartbreaking part. His own family was nearby when it all went down. In street culture, that's considered one of the biggest violations. No one touches family, especially not when mothers are involved. But when revenge takes over, the old rules fade fast. This wasn't random or mistaken identity. This was a calculated hit meant to send a loud public message. No one is untouchable. Witnesses say there were 2 victims. Big Jook lost his life at the scene, while another man was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Police later confirmed they had surveillance footage and believe without a doubt that Big Jook was specifically targeted. No masks, no attempt to hide. The shooters wanted everyone to know what this was about. What makes the story even colder is the timing. Big Jook had just come from a memorial service, a celebration of life for another person gone too soon. He reportedly stepped out for a quick smoke break and never made it back inside. Sources say his mother was still in the building when the shots rang out. It's a level of tragedy that shook Memphis to its core. But here's what had everyone talking. The streets already knew Big Jook's alleged connection to Dolph's death before it became public. Word had been spreading months that he might have been the one who allegedly placed that bag on Dolph's head. And in neighborhoods like that, information moves faster than investigations. The same networks that once planned Dolph's ambush are the ones that eventually leaked Jook's name. And that's when the countdown to retaliation started ticking. Street justice doesn't wait for trials or verdicts. It happens when the timing feels right. And that's exactly what people think happened here. BEO Lil Kenny and his crew, who were close to Dolph, had reportedly been lying low, waiting for the right moment to strike back. They knew Big Jook wasn't just Yo Gotti's brother. He was the muscle, the man who handled everything behind the scenes. Taking him out wasn't just revenge, it was a message to the entire CMG camp, a warning that the streets never forget and that every move made in silence eventually comes back around. What's wild is how Lil Kenny's own lyrics seemed to line up with what people in the streets had already been whispering. When he rapped about coming to get someone like bounty hunters and doing it in front of his mama, he dropped details that sounded way too specific, like things only someone close to the situation would know. Fans instantly started connecting the dots, wondering if he just revealed more than he meant to. But here's where things get even deeper. If Jook was still alive today, a lot of insiders believe he'd probably be facing serious federal charges connected to young Dolph's case. During the trial of the alleged shooters, investigators mentioned that Big Jook had been questioned by authorities about what he might have known. Reports said there were phone records showing he was in contact with the suspects on the same day the tragedy happened. Basically, Big Jook was already running out of time. The federal investigation was building momentum, and if events hadn't taken that dark turn, prosecutors might have had enough to keep him behind bars for decades. It's sad to say, but some people think his passing might have actually kept him from facing a lifetime of legal trouble. That's the harsh truth about street life. Sometimes it's not the streets that end things, it's the system waiting around the corner. Now let's talk about BEO Lil Kenny and what's next for him. On paper, his arrest doesn't look like much. Evading arrest, reckless driving, and possession with a bond set at just $10,000, which he likely already posted. But that might only be the surface of what's really going on. Sources say Kenny was held for an extra 8 hours after his booking, not because of those minor charges, but because investigators had more questions about all the online rumors connecting him to Big Jook's situation. They reportedly wanted to know what he knew and why his name kept popping up in conversations tied to the case. And even Kenny himself spoke on it, saying the internet is a dangerous drug. He's not wrong. These days, every lyric, every caption, and every post can turn into evidence once authorities start digging. The internet never forgets, and that's exactly why being too open online can come back to bite you. Here's the thing. Federal investigators move quietly. They'll charge someone with something small first, just to keep them close while they build a much larger case behind the scenes. And with Kenny's lyrics, posts, and visuals giving away so much, investigators might already have more than enough to connect the dots. His own music might have given them the clues they needed to piece the story together, and now it's just a matter of time before we find out how deep it really goes. Kenny's own lyrics and posts gave investigators plenty to work with, almost like he laid out a trail leading straight back to Big Jook's situation. But when you really look at it, BEO Lil Kenny's story goes beyond just revenge or street payback. It's a harsh reminder of what happens when conflict and violence become the only way people think they can solve problems. Young Dolph's loss sent shockwaves through the city. Then Big Jook's death followed, and now Kenny's future's hanging in the balance. It's a heartbreaking chain reaction, one event sparking another, each one leaving families broken and communities hurting. Memphis has seen too many of its rising stars and respected figures taken down by the same cycle. Yo Gotti lost his brother, Dolph's family lost someone they loved deeply, and now it looks like Kenny's family might lose him to the system if things don't turn around. It's tragic all around. Nobody really wins in this kind of story. So now the big question is, when does it stop? How many more people have to get caught up before everyone sees that this path only leads to pain, loss, or prison time? Kenny might believe he's still got a chance to walk free, but the truth is, both the streets and the feds are keeping a close eye on him right now. What do you think about VEO Lil Kenny's situation? Do you think he'll make it out of this, or could this be the start of something even bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates and stories from the Memphis rap scene.